Hey everyone, Stryfe the Warrior here. I'm not usually at my usual mic where I'm recording. I'm just kind of using my headset for this video. I wanted to do kind of a quick update video of what's kind of been going on with the channel, with me personally and everything. I figured the best way to do this would be to do a face cam with no fancy mic or anything like that. So might be some minor touch-ups and post-editing, but yeah. First of all, where I've been. For those who do keep up with me on social media, I've kind of had like a lot going on. I actually had to move recently. I moved at the end of July into the new place where I have now, which is nice though, because I do have a very dedicated office space / stream room. As you can see, I still haven't completely 100% set it up yet, but you know, I'm working on that too. Kind of also why I'm just kind of doing the natural, you know, fan lighting here, not the umbrella lights that I usually do. So that's what's kind of been going on. Aside from that, just, you know, Taekwondo tournament, kind of actually injured my hand a little bit, but thankfully that's on the mend. I've also busy doing wedding stuff. I also went to San Japan recently. That was also a lot of fun. Did my first Armor King cosplay. That's kind of what's been going on. The main thing is just that, like, you know, I've been busy. So on top of this channel, which it's not my full-time job, you know, it'd be cool one day if it was, but right now it's not in the cards. I have a full-time job. I work out. Or try to at least. Taekwondo. I'm also getting married in less than 2 months, so it's just all been really, really crazy. On top of that, I've also been trying to run my other gaming channel, which I know for a while back, especially during like the season 4, season 5 videos, I was always promoting like,
be sure to check out and subscribe to my second gaming channel.
But that hasn't happened until earlier this year, which I really started kind of being active. I'm also now kind of going back into it, just trying to be active again, you know, just kind of go from there. And for those guys that are into gaming, definitely check it out. I'll probably be doing my first live stream on that channel, not including the marathons that I've done, on October 1st. Time yet to be announced, but definitely check it out if you're into that sort of stuff. I also feel like that, you know, even though I don't always read the comments or like my posts so much of like, you know, what's kind of going on, I'm actually really not that hard to reach. I'm very active on Discord. The link's always in the descriptions of the videos. It's also in the description of the channel. I'm actually most active there. You know, our community isn't super active, but at least once a day you'll find somebody talking in there. That's pretty much the easiest way to reach me. Now, that out of the way, I'm sure a lot of you guys that are watching this are, you know, hey, what's up with the character analysis videos? Why are you taking so long? Why aren't you doing them anymore? There's a lot to unpack. So if you're watching this, depending on when this gets uploaded, I'm trying to upload this the same day or at least a day after I put out the crease video. I put out a YouTube post breaking down like my analysis process. But for those that are unaware, you know, I know sometimes not everybody sees those posts. I'm just going to break it down here in video form. This is the process of my character analysis video. And I've detailed this before in video comments and live streams, but now that you know. First off, I have to, depending on when the new season drops, right? Let's just say season 3, for example, where I'm doing a character analysis of Daniel LaRusso. I'm first watching that season as a fan. Starting with season 5 onward, I only kind of just chopped it down to watching it once, so I can kind of do the Easter eggs video, then work on the character analysis. But, you know, typically I was watching it once as a fan. Then I watch it again for the Easter eggs. Also, typically up to that point, what I started kind of doing up until season 6 was I was also rewatching the films, all 4, including Next Karate Kid, and the current Cobra Kai seasons up to that point. So in season 3, it'd be season 1 and 2. Going by just watching those once alone, right? Each Karate Kid movie is around 2 hours or so. On average, a Cobra Kai season is about 5 hours. I think season 5 was a little bit longer. But those two together, you know, Cobra Kai season 1 through 3, that's 5, you know, that's 15 hours. And then the 4 Karate Kid films are 2 hours apiece. That's like at least anywhere from 21 to 23 hours. And I'm just using that as kind of a variable figure because it also depends on the character I'm doing the screen time. But, you know, for the case of Daniel, he's in every scene in Karate Kid 1, so there's no way you're going to skim that movie. But I'm having to rewatch that. So I'm also taking notes during that time. So that's a lot of watch time. Then I have to write the script. Originally, the script was always kind of the exciting part for me in the beginning, but as time kind of goes on and I'm really trying not to miss details, and sometimes I still do, I've kind of just accepted that, hey, I will miss details, but other fans will catch it and kind of add on to what I'm talking about in the video, and that's awesome. But depending on how long that character has screen time, so in this case, Daniel, who's a very prominent character in both the films and Cobra Kai, easily he's probably going to have like a lot of pages to his, you know, to a script. So it could be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. It just really depends on the screen time, but let's just say Daniel, I'd kind of estimate that's how long it took me. Probably more so on the 2 hour end, but you know. And then of course, then we have to record the audio. As some of you guys know, I have a bit of a speech impediment. I also talk fast, very naturally. I also naturally talk fast too. And you can also tell this in my early work that I would slur my words or I'd talk too fast. So I've really tried to slow down and speak even though I feel like sometimes for me personally that's too slow, but it's easier for you guys to understand me. And then of course, if I have to redo a line, I'm kind of just recording the audio. So far for a video, I've never had to record more than an hour, but it'd be kind of right around that time. So that's an hour there. So then I have to edit the audio. And again, going back to my speech impediment and, making sure things sound naturally, or I have to go back and re-record a line, then I will have to edit that audio depending, again, how long the script is and how long the raw audio is. That can be anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. Now, thankfully, nowadays I have help on that. But even then, the most recent Crease video took 2.5 hours for my guys to edit the audio. And that's editing raw audio 40 minutes. Just to make sure everything runs together, remove the background noise, equalize it and everything. So that's kind of what it takes. Then I also have to edit the video. Now with my setup, which I built in 2022, editing is a little bit faster and easier for me now, but it's also a lot of footage I have to comb through. I have to have the visual. Thankfully, when I listen back to myself while I'm editing the video, I kind of have a visual because of how well I know the series and franchise of like what I want to put there, grabbing a clip, but it's still a lot of data and a lot of footage to comb through. And especially a lot of people don't realize, but I also re-recorded a lot of footage starting with, I think this was season 6, part 2 or 3, but I re-recorded a lot of things in 4K to kind of just up that. And that also takes a lot more data. So, but on average, I can kind of get through from anywhere. It takes me about an hour to get through 3 to 4 minutes of footage, sometimes 5, but that's just kind of how long it takes. So, and most of my videos are anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Let's just say 4 to 6 hours on that. So, and then thumbnail creation, of course, you always have to have a good thumbnail. That, is really, really important, but thankfully it takes me no longer than an hour, or sometimes on the rare occurrence, I'll have somebody commissioned for that because I have a thumbnail guy that helps me with that from time to time now. And then I have to optimize the video. With optimizing, what that includes is, making sure the titles are right, making sure the tags are right, the chapters are there, the description is there. I also have to go back and caption the video because, like I said, I talk naturally very fast. I sometimes slur my words. And what happens is when I'm recording, if something I wrote in the script doesn't flow right when I'm trying to say it out loud, I'll sometimes ad-lib to kind of make it sound a little bit more natural, so to speak. And then I have to kind of go back and change that in the caption. That can all take anywhere from easy to an hour and a half. So it all varies, but kind of going back to what we said here, right? Let's say 21 hours of rewatching the footage for season 3 Daniel. Let's say I wrote the script in 2 hours, which would be very fast for me. Record the audio for an hour. Let's say I edit the audio about 2 hours, and let's just say I got through editing in about 4.5 hours. Thumbnail took me an hour, then optimize, let's say an hour. So let's say on the average or low end side, that's still like 30-hour process. On the low end side. High end side could be upwards to 37 hours just because of that's like a lot of work I have to do. That was all the work I was doing in the beginning too. That was all me before I had any help. I did everything. The only very minimal help that I would have is that like I would sometimes send the video when it was kind of like mostly done to my friends, like, hey, what do you think of this? Or like, does this script seem okay to you? And that's, it's a really big process. Nowadays, and then it also, again, depends on where I'm at in that character's arc. If I've done a video on them before, if I haven't. And that's also kind of why I try to pick characters that have like something significant happen. That's the reason why I skipped season 5 Dimitri. There was nothing happening there, and it really kind of wouldn't be worth putting out a video on him, which is kind of why I waited till season 6 part 1. So it all kind of just depends. If I'm caught up on the character, it does take a lot less time, but that's still like, anywhere from 13 and a half to almost 20 hours. So it's almost like doing part-time work or full-time work on the character analysis. So on top of, again, full-time job, working out, and things like that. When I first started this channel, I had a lot less responsibility, and that was kind of like, this was like the thing that was kind of like helping me kind of keep the lights on, so to speak. And even though I had a contract job at the time, I was kind of doing this on the side. Now it's not quite like that. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. So I know you guys are always like very like, hey, where are the videos? Where are the videos? Where are the videos? That's kind of why I started taking breaks after season 4, because imagine me trying to do the character or the Easter egg, then a character analysis, then another character analysis, then another character analysis. It burns you out quick. To quote Corey Kenshin when he was talking about his struggles in his latest video, I'm just a regular guy. I missed out on a lot of things when I first started doing a lot of these videos. I missed birthdays. I missed, hanging out with friends. I turned down a lot of things because I was really heavy on the channel and it just was not healthy. I'm now trying to find a balance, pun intended, of trying to do all these things to where I'm not losing quality and I'm still putting out things that you guys would enjoy. That's one of the main reasons why I kind of slow down the character analysis, because they just take so much time. I could easily hire a video editor, probably, right? I could also probably hire some other people to help me, but it's more just kind of like the things I got going on right now outside of thing. I'm not quite there yet, but I would love to like streamline the channel and have content out every week, and I think that would be really great. But unfortunately, I'm not there just yet. Not to mention, you know, when that happens, you also kind of dip in quality too. And I was also very kind of like wary of handing over the type of work I do, because of how meticulous the editing is, trying to match the scene for scene. I can almost guarantee if I hired somebody and was like, hey, do this video for me, okay, that's not right, I don't want to be one of the types of guys. Also too, it makes me appreciate the process more, because I've always kind of compared of making a video like this, of making a character analysis, is like cooking a really exquisite meal when you're hungry. The process kind of sucks, but once it's done, it just comes out so good. Now, maybe I'm kind of getting to the point where I will get to an editor, but it's hard to say right now. Another thing that kind of just stopped me from doing these character analysis video, or I wouldn't say stop, but just kind of pushed me away, the rampant spoilers, man. It was very bad during Season 6 Part 2 and Season 6 Part 3. Even though I had screeners too, it still was just like everybody wanted to just like spoil everything, and it was a big turn off for me. And that's kind of why I just was like kind of glad Cobra Kai was over. And I think in some ways that also kind of took my appreciation for the series as a fan away too, because of people spoiling it for me. And even when I wasn't trying to be spoiled either, it just, you know, that's kind of like one of the downsides of the algorithm, is that you end up seeing things that you don't want to see, and just, it was just a mess. That's also kind of why it took me a while to do kind of character analysis too, because I was just like, I still loved how the show ended. Cobra Kai will probably be one of my favorite pieces of media of all time, but that kind of like soured it for a little bit for me for a while. Now not so much anymore, but yeah. Also too, like, because of all the burnout, the repetitive, and the spoilers, I also wanted to do content that I liked. I know a lot of people weren't expecting me to do cast interviews, but for me, I think for those of the fans that would really kind of like, you know, were paying attention, that was also me doing character analysis in another way, because I also get to dive into the minds of the actors of how they approach the characters and compare of like, hey, this is what I thought about the character. Is this how you approach the character? And who knows, maybe I will collab with an actor and say, hey, you know, react to this video. What do you think? Or maybe they'll contribute to something to the character analysis. Never know. It also was content for me as a fan of Cobra Kai of like, hey, I finally get to talk to these actors. Some of them have seen my work, or they're seeing my work for the first time. And it also helped me open a lot of doors too. So for those of you guys that have supported the channel, thank you, because you supporting the channel, whether it was the character analysis or the interviews, it helped open a lot of doors for me. Not with just Cobra Kai, with other things too, which is why I was also even started doing Power Ranger interviews, as you saw, and I might even do other interviews outside of Cobra Kai too. So, you know, there's always going to be plans for the channel. Brings me to my next point, is that I like other things outside of Cobra Kai, hence my name. No offense to Cobra Kai Companion or Cobra Kai Nation or Strike First Media, all good friends of mine, but that's why I never named my channel Cobra Kai Warrior. It was Stryfe the Warrior. I just wanted to be my own thing and talk about things that I loved, whether it was Cobra Kai, Pokemon, Power Rangers, WWE, Rocky and Creed. Hell, I've even had a WWE short go viral. I've had my Rocky videos go viral just like my Cobra Kai did. It's one of my favorite pieces of media, but I also enjoy other media as well. It also kind of goes back to when I started this channel. I was never set out to be a content creator by career, which, funny enough, I always thought like if I were going to get in content creation and started earning income from it, it would have been through gaming, because that was really my first love and passion. When I put out that Why Johnny Lawrence is the Better Sensei video, I had no clue it would go viral. These were just some of the comparisons I made. I didn't think it would really resonate with everybody, but I was like, hey, if this doesn't go anywhere, I can say at least I put out a video essay. But then things changed, as we all know, and I was able to put out more video. That's kind of what happened there. But again, it was not for the algorithm or things. I just kept going because more people wanted to see it. And now it kind of comes down to where I have to create things that you guys like, but I also want to create things that I like too. And I also want to talk about things that I like too, whether it's Cobra Kai, WWE, Rocky or Creed, or something else that might interest me in the future. I started the channel because I was a fan of the show. For those of the guys that really support me, I want to thank you for sticking around and being patient. And this is me communicating, say, hey, this is what's kind of going on. So that way you guys have a bigger picture of, you know, hey, this is what's going on, because I get it. You guys want more Cobra Kai content. I'm also working on putting out there for you too. A lot of you guys don't know, I've also started working with a YouTube coach, and I've been working with one since January 2024. That's why I've kind of been trying so many different new things. I've also like to think I've been openly communicating when I can, when people, tag me in comments or tag me on things on social media. It's just with like YouTube comments, it's a lot to keep track of because I probably still have at least 5,000 unread notifications, and that's a lot to sift through. I'm thankful for everyone that interacts and comments, but I just don't have time to answer all of them. So I just try to respond when I can. But I'm still thankful for all those that do still like my content, whether it's Cobra Kai, whether it's the interviews, whether it's Creed and Rocky, or what else. So that brings us to future plans of like, what's the channel going forward? Yes, I do plan on finishing Cobra Kai character analysis, but I'm also going to do interviews. I'm also going to talk about things not Cobra Kai related. What I'm really trying to work on getting better with everything that's going on, as I mentioned at the start of this video, is I'm trying to be more consistent. I think that's always been my downfall, is that I've never been as consistent as I would like to be, or as I should have been. So what I'm working on towards now is trying to at least get 1 to 2 long form videos out per month, and in between maybe some shorts and a live stream. By the time this video drops, I would have uploaded another Power Rangers interview, or the interview's already been out, so go check it out. I'm also going to be working on some shorts in between. I'm also still actively trying to interview actors as well, whether related to Cobra Kai or other franchises that I love. Some of you guys also liked the What If video that I did, so I might also be doing more What If contents as well. I'm also still going to be doing gaming content on my other channel, which I really recommend you check it out. And that's all I can kind of think of right now. Just kind of a mix of different content and just trying to be more consistent as possible. Realistically, just trying to do some type of upload or stream once a week. As far as streaming goes, I'm actually going to be working on classifying more things as part of the new podcast Stryfe the Show, where I kind of talk about different things. That might also include interviews or geek news, nerd news, what have you. I'm still kind of figuring that out right now. That being said, if you made it this far, thanks for listening. Now you kind of have a bigger picture of what's been going on, and yeah, I really appreciate you riding out through the journey. If you really want to get a hold with me, like I said, join the Discord server. I'm pretty active in there. Maybe you'll catch me in there one day just playing a video game or something like that. Feel free to come by to say hi. I usually greet everybody that's in there. So just stay tuned, be patient, and see you around. Hey guys.